All right, so it's baseball season. So as I was thinking about like what am I going to talk about, it's all baseball-isms today. And as we had our tournament this weekend, one of the things I love about baseball is that it applies to so much of our lives. I think sports in general applies to our lives, and it teaches us a lot about ourselves. It teaches us really great things, but it really exposes some of the bad things. And I gave you some good examples of what the bad things of what sports can do and how it really applies to our lives. But how there's just such a great and amazing connection between sports, but I think particularly the game of baseball and life. And so today is all about baseball-isms and some things and examples that hopefully will be impactful to you. So I love this. The expert in anything was once a beginner. And just as James was talking about, we do have a lot of newbies in our industry here within our firm. And that's one of the areas of growth that we know for stability for the future is that we have to have an environment that we bring people into this industry, and hopefully we give them the guidance and we give them the structure and we give them the confidence to be great representatives of what it means to be an agent, to be a realtor, right? We all know that there's things that are messed up in our industry. And as you know, if you're around me, we always say this, listen, we were going to be the example first, and we're going to have our example change the industry eventually. But we have to start with ourselves first. And so we've made a conscious effort to grow our company by adding new agents and helping hopefully change their lives as well too, as we change the industry. But we all were beginners at one point in time. And I think as many as you that I've talked to, I was just talking to an agent, one of our agents yesterday, who's had a lot of success in the last couple of years. And it's been amazing how when you put a goal down, sometimes you don't really believe you can achieve that goal. Like, because sometimes you get really challenged and it's like this big, hairy, audacious goal that we talked about before. And then one day you wake up and you're like, holy crap, I am so close to achieving that goal. And if you've never done it before in the past, or if you've never achieved anything really big, when you start to achieve these big goals, it's a life-changing experience. And it's pretty amazing what it does to you. So it's pretty awesome to be a part of that. Like, we as a company love to be on that journey with you. Life will always throw you curveballs. Just keep fouling them off. The right pitch will come. And when it does, be prepared to run the bases. And this applies to real estate, doesn't it? Like, in real estate, you're going to have opportunities to go win business, and you're going to get a lot of objections. You're going to get a lot of challenges. You're going to get things that happen that make you change how you do business. And those are the curveballs in life, right? And then not only with real estate, also just life in general, things kind of happen, but they kind of pour into the other areas of your business. And you get kind of set back and you go, God, well, how am I gonna tackle that? And how am I gonna continue to move forward, right? Maybe there's something happens personally in your life. Maybe you lose a loved one. Maybe a marriage falls apart. Maybe you now have to raise your grandchildren. Maybe things happen that you weren't necessarily planning for, and this isn't the way that life was meant to be. But you have to adjust. You have to keep swinging. You have to keep fouling off things in your life so that when the opportunity arises and you get that chance to go win that business or win that moment, you've continued to fight. And then you have that opportunity to hit the home run. So this was this weekend, and thank you to April for taking 431 pictures, by the way. Not only to take that all, but to upload them. I don't know how many hours that took to do this, but as I was scrolling through them last night, I love these pictures. And this is one of our children right there. This is Ryan, who's one of our fastest kids. He's running to home plate, and the catcher was trying to block the plate, and the ball brought him up the line and absolutely just took Ryan out. And isn't that a metaphor in our life? Like, we are sometimes running clear on our path, and then all of a sudden something blindsides us, or someone blindsides us with something that we have no idea how to adapt to. And sometimes it really hurts, right? Sometimes that collision with either a person or an event really hurts us. And this is a great metaphor as I was thinking about how life happens to us that, to be honest with you, is completely out of our control. And Ryan got hurt on the play. I mean, he got absolutely blindsided by this catcher that came up the line, and he had absolutely no control. And he tried to dive and he tried to get out of the way, but he couldn't do that. And that's what happens in our life, right? That happens in our business, where there's things that we just simply cannot control, and we are going to get crushed. And how important it is for us to have people around us is, if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. If you don't step forward, you will always be in the same place. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. We talk about that all the time, right? If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. I just love this quote. And how much of us are not asking for the business? How many of us are not going and talking to our clients and literally asking them the simple question is, guys, do you have a real estate professional that you recommend? I'd love an opportunity, if that ever arises, to help you and assist you. We simply ask that question. And many of us, I promise you, do not have that conversation because we don't have the confidence, right? Because we don't want to ask, because we don't want to hear no. Cannot have the business. We have this fear in our life of that no and that rejection is a personal reflection of who we are. And we've got to get over that, right? Because we know that we don't want to be in the same place as we were last year, this year, and we definitely don't want to be in the same place we are right now next year, right? So we have to start overcoming some of these challenges. Be humble enough to be coachable, but be confident enough to dominate your position. For those of you that have had tremendous success in this industry, first of all, you know that you didn't do it alone. And you'll be the first to admit, which is awesome, right? You maybe had a great partner that helped you along the way. Maybe you had a great mentor. Maybe you had a great coach. But you know that without a doubt, you didn't do it by yourself. You had people that either motivated you because they didn't think that you could do it, and that was motivation enough. Or maybe you had people in your life that supported you and said, you are worth it, and you are worthy, and you are capable, and you do deserve it. And you went out and got it. And you had the shift in your mindset that you will be the best. Because before you didn't believe you were the best. Before you didn't believe that you could be the best or that anybody believed in you. But hopefully because of who you've surrounded yourself with, you've started to see that you can be the best real estate agent. You can be the best mother. You can be the best father. You can be the best husband, the best wife. You can be the best man. You can be the best woman that you're capable of becoming. Being positive in a negative situation is not naive. It's called leadership. We are constantly being put in negative situations. We are constantly being put in situations where it's really hard because the way that people talk to us, or people's expectations, or people's naivety when it comes to real estate and what's going on in this market and what those expectations should look like, right? But it's our job to be positive and not negative in the situations. When we take on our clients' emotions, we start to feel pretty bad ourselves, right? And we start to kind of go into that mindset that woe is me, and yeah, you're right, the market sucks, or that agent sucks, or this industry sucks, or the banker sucks, or the appraiser sucks, or that buyer sucks, or that seller sucks. And you can see how we get caught into this downward spiral of now we've just destroyed everything that we stand for and what this industry stands for. But if we stay positive, then we show our leadership. We help others as they're going through challenging times. And we often say this, do we not? That we see people at their most stressed, not at their best. Not at their worst, because they're stressed. Yeah, there are some things that do things come out of their mouth that we're like, dude, I didn't know you were capable of ever saying that. And these are friends of yours, right? These are family members of yours. You're like, dude, I am totally losing respect for who you are. But then I also have to realize that you're stressed as all hell. And if I'm not staying positive, and if I'm not staying proactive, I'm part of the problem, not part of the solution. True leadership is being positive in those challenging times. And we are in a challenging time. When the market is hot as it is right now, it is bringing out the worst in people. We also see on the other side of the market too, where it also brings out the worst in people too. And no one ever said that this was an easy industry. No one ever said that this was the funnest industry. But those of you that have seen success understand that it is worth it all. It's not the team with the best players that wins, it's the players with the best team that wins. So 8 years old is when we started our crush team, and we were always the midgets. We have always been the smallest team. We have always been the littlest team. In fact, actually, I got a memory of a picture that we had taken, and it was probably April that took this, because she's always been our residence camera mom. But of a team, every game after, or every time after we play a game, whether we win or lose, we huddle around the mound and we pray. And we thank the coaches, and we thank the umpires, and we thank the parents, but we also pour into the children and these boys. And we're just so grateful that they get this opportunity to play this great game and chase this dream of one day becoming a Major League Baseball. And it's awesome. But as I was looking at it, we have these kids that are literally not even coming up partially to our waists. And the only reason why some of them are is because they have the helmet on, right? And it just reminded me how small these young boys were, right? And they weren't the best athletes. Now, they were good athletes because they're, they've got really talented fathers, and 3 of them are in this room right now. But they weren't the best athletes because, we played Colorado teams, which their boys were bigger than some of our coaches, right? But they were the best team because they learned how to play together. And that's what we've done as an organization. We've created the best team. And we're starting to see some rock stars come from it. But we all know that there's other really great individual real estate agents that don't have a good team behind them. Yeah, they go out there and they're successful as an individual agent, but they don't have an organization that is a team that is helping develop them and helping them get to the level of success, not just in their finances, but also in their life. And you guys know this better than I. You're dealing with them. You're dealing with the lack of professionalism that they have. But yeah, they're freaking really good when it comes to selling properties, but their leadership is probably not on par. And we all know people like that are leading teams in other organizations, and their teams are complete train wrecks, or they're part of an organization where there is absolutely no leadership and there is no guidance, and it's a free-for-all and they do whatever the heck they want. And that's not the way we run our organization. We are creating the best team because we are creating the best organization. And we are impacting people like nobody else is. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I take a lot of pride in you for being a part of it. This is a great example of what it means to be a teammate. So that's Brady, and the boy behind him is Cole, who just hit a home run. And Brady is smiling more than Cole is, because he's so happy for his team. And he gets to score a run because his teammate hits the home run. But he gets to score the run because he did his job and he got on base. And in life, that's kind of what it's like, that sometimes you don't get the glory. Sometimes you're not the one that gets the sale, or sometimes you're not the one that gets the commission, but you played a part in it because you helped pour into that person. Because you took 5 minutes out of your day as an agent and sat with 8 new agents and helped them run a Facebook ad. Or because you sat up here and you talked about your journey as an agent and how you actually started exactly where they're at, or maybe you started worse than where these guys were at. But you showed them that if you stick with it, that it's worth it. Because you're a great teammate. And when you pour into the people around you, that's what great teammates are like. You can be successful individually, you guys. And I've done it. I did it. But I will promise you it is not worth it at the end of the day if you have nobody around to celebrate. And this is the team, of course. As they're celebrating this one gentleman that hit the home run. And none of them hit the home run, but they all celebrated and they all lift him up because, you know what? As a team, they won together. And it's the individuals that have to do the work, and you individually have to do the work in order for your team to win. And maybe your team is your spouse. Maybe your team is your kids. Maybe your team is your family. But those of you that have started to experience this winning in your life, understand that when you win, your whole family wins. When you win, your spouse wins. When you win, your children win because of the opportunities that you get to now present to them. When you win, we win as a company because we get to make a greater impact. We get to hire great people. We get to change lives, more lives. We get the opportunity to eventually, potentially, maybe, in a huge ass dream, change a freaking industry that needs to be changed. And that's a big goal, and that is a scary goal, and that is a freaking audacious goal, and that is a really arrogant goal. I tell you that. But I don't care, because this industry needs changed. And you need to deal with agents that respect this industry as much as you do. Not with what the crap that you have to put up with. I'm sick and tired of having freaking calls with other agents outside our firm that don't treat this industry the way that you treat it. But I'll keep doing it. I'll keep calling. Because I know what we're capable of doing. And I know what you're capable of doing. And I love your heart, and I love your dedication, and you have a team supporting you and will always back you. In life and baseball, good things happen when you put the ball in play. Do the work. Show up. Just like we talked about. The 3 things we're talking about, button it up, right? Trust the process. Be here now. Never give up. You owe it to yourself to be the best you can possibly be. In baseball and in life. You owe it to yourself. You have one life to live. I thought that my life was over when the game stopped. In fact, I'm writing a book about it because it literally was that painful. And I've come to realize that there are a lot of other athletes that are feeling that same pain, and some of them are not able to get over it. Some of them are actually choosing not to go on with their life anymore, and that's the sad part of our culture now, is that they feel like that is the only choice that they have. And I see and I hear these stories time and time again, but the game, once the game is over, life really actually begins. And I had to take my journey through that, and I absolutely love where our life is headed. And I hope that you understand that. I hope that when you start to see success in your life, you really understand like your journey is only beginning. And the life that you want is only beginning, no matter what age it is. When you respect this industry, regardless of who you play, you respect the industry. Do this every time after a game. Whether we like the other team, or like the other coaches, or whether we won, or whether we lose. This is how you represent, this is how you change an industry. Always be that leader, regardless of the situation. Regardless if you're dealing with the a-hole real estate agent that you absolutely hate, regardless if you're dealing with the a-hole buyer or the a-hole seller that you absolutely cannot stand, be the example how you want to be remembered. Because somebody is always watching. Right? I didn't know this picture was being taken. The boys don't know this picture was being taken, but somebody was taking a picture. Fans were watching. People were watching. Other coaches were watching. Other players were watching what was going on the diamond. And that's exactly what happens in life. For one reason or another, we only think that we're the only ones involved in that situation and nobody else is paying attention. But I promise you this, there are people watching. Your children are watching. Your spouse is watching. Your family's watching. Your other real estate agents are watching. I'm always watching. But how do you want to be remembered? And how you acted? I always end in this. The world needs who you want to be, now more than ever. Don't shy away from that. The world needs who you want to be now more than ever. Do not shy away from that. Step into that. And let's go change an industry. Because it's really nice when you hold the trophy. It's really nice when you accomplish the goal. It's really nice when your life changes and you get to impact people at a level you never thought was possible. Have an awesome day. I love you all.